Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the August 7th operation briefing for the Spokane area fires. As always, if you guys could, please silence your phones and your radios. And let's try to keep our site conversations down as minimal as possible. We still have quite a few IEPs and stuff, so feel free to grab as many of those as you guys need for your crews. Our objectives have not changed, but still please go over those. Make sure when you have a chance to sit down and take a break, you're going over those with your crews, and then pass along our strategic direction and leader's intent also. So with that, I'd like to go and bring up operations with the situational update.
Good morning, everybody. Joe Tiso, Night Operations. Last night was a very good night for night shift. You guys are doing a great job during the day. We had a few calls for service early in the shift, and then it was relatively quiet throughout until the sun came up this morning. And I'd say between 5 and 5:30 this morning, we probably got a half a dozen calls for service. Other in drop points 10, 11, and 13, that whole area up there last night, before going off shift, unmanned Romeo flew that area. They found several heat sources well within the line. No threat to the line, but we had crews going in there and mopping up and search and destroy all along that area. And even with that, we did have calls for service up there this morning between 5 and 5:30. That was the most concentrated area of concern for us last night, and there was no growth on any of the fires last night. And I hope you guys have a great day.
Good morning, Todd Carter, incident meteorologist. So we're going to go back to basics: fuels, weather, topography, the fire triangle. That's kind of what we learned in school. And I obviously cover the weather part. Ryan's going to cover the fuels and fire behavior part. So today, I'm going to get this out of the way right now. Today we have a red flag warning that starts at 11 a.m. today and goes until Saturday, 9 p.m. And the reason for that is the weather I'm going to talk about. We have been warming and drying progressively over the last 2 or 3 days. We're now in the 90s on our temperatures. We've got 92 to 98 degrees in the forecast today. If you check it out on page 3, we've got relative humidities that are abnormally low, 12 to 17%, so really low relative humidities. And the winds are picking up. So these are all watch out situations when we get a change in weather like this, hence the need to raise awareness and the red flag warning. So I mentioned the temperatures and the relative humidity for the winds. We've got 10 to 15 mile per hour winds potentially picking up. I expect the strongest winds, if you know where the Spokane International Airport is, a little ways west of here. It's up in a higher kind of bench area, the West Plains. That is 2,300 feet. That's going to be where the strongest winds start today. And they're going to filter and start pushing into Spokane proper. There are some sheltered areas. If you haven't been around this terrain yet, there's some pretty good terrain relief as you go along the Spokane River. It's pretty sheltered in there. That area may get half the winds. So southwest winds, 10 to 15 miles per hour coming up off the bench. Some of that will filter into the Spokane River Valley itself. Every once in a while, you may get a gust to 15 miles per hour. It'll be 5 miles per hour, south-southwest. Every once in a while, you'll get a gust. You may even hear it in the trees as the winds pick up between 1,300 and 1,400 hours. And then those winds filter into the rest of Spokane. And there's variable terrain. 5 Mile Prairie is up on a lava knob. And then Autumn Lake's got some higher terrain in it as well. Those will be the areas that will feel the strongest wind. Yes, there will be sheltering in other areas down along the river and lower valley regions, but the fire environment is changing in terms of weather. So that's why we have the red flag warning today. So if you have any questions, please see me after briefing, and have a safe day.
Good morning, Ryan Swanson with Fire Behavior. We are at the peak of normal fire season for this area. Additionally to that, this area has experienced drought, low snowpack for the winter, and substandard moisture for the spring, leading to record level dry fuels, both live and dead. We are at the lowest fuel moistures that have been recorded and forecasted in the past 21 years since the closest ROS stations have been keeping record. Additionally, we are going to be setting records for all of the indices, ERC, burn index, spread component, and ignition component. All of your fuel classes today will be available for consumption from 1 hour to 1,000 hours, and the live fuels will not suppress fire, they will carry fire. I'm not anticipating natural growth of the 3 fires that we have, but what I am concerned about is we have multiple ember sources from the heavy fuels that are still smoldering and the urban fuels that are continuing to hold the heat. As the winds surface this afternoon, they could potentially spread embers, and outside of the fire line, you have a very receptive fuel bed. So any spot or any initial attack that happens within our area, in the grasses, I would expect rapid rates of spread. And also in the timber understory, I would expect moderate to rapid rates of spread. The fuels by themselves will drive fire today and tomorrow. Additionally, if you have any slope or if you get a new ignition where the fuels and the wind are in alignment, you can expect rapid rates of spread and suppression difficulty. That's all I have. If you have any questions, I'll be available. Have a good, safe shift.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Cones, one of your operations section chiefs. A couple changes in operational leadership today, so I'll go over those with you real quick. As lead operations, we have Scott Grasmick. Field operations will be Sean Craig and Derek Steidley. In branch 1, which is the Autumn Lane fire up here, branch director today will be Steve Schultz. Charlie Miller. Delta will be Tellison. Mike, Jury Class A. Sierra is Blanco. Okay, on branch 5, the Old Trails fire, we have branch director Cleary. Bravo will be Wilkins. Echo is Higgins. Foxtrot is Rober. Golf is Dede. Hotel McGurvey. And on Juliet, Ruiz. And then finally on branch 10, the Fairview fire, we'll have branch director Goheen. With on Lima November, we'll have Valenzuela and Osterland. And on Tango's Morse. Okay, you heard both the IMET and the F-band talk about the elevated conditions today. That's not going to change our mission. Our mission's going to remain the same, but it is going to increase our level of preparedness. So in your 204s, all the IA resources have been identified in there with an asterisk next to their resource name. Know who you are and who you're working for in the event that we do get an initial attack assignment this afternoon, or any time today, I guess. The rest of the folks and those folks that aren't involved in an IA will continue the mission that we've been doing for the last couple days, securing those fire perimeters as best we can, making sure that stuff stays within the line, shooting for a goal of 200-foot mop-up around the perimeter and any values at risk if it's safe to do so. One last thing, if you have an opportunity to get some rest this morning, take some breaks, keep your fatigue level in check. It might be a busy day this afternoon. We might be working late, so just be prepared for that. Take care of yourselves and each other. Have a good shift.
Morning, everybody. Eric Vergeries, Air Ops. So you guys have rotor wing and fixed wing available today upon request. We have the UAS mod that's going to be flying up in the Autumn Lane area, checking out the heat sources up here. We also have a short haul out of Sandpoint. We have a few air ambulances in the Spokane area, and if we do have anything flying, if you guys pull out your IRPG, when you guys are talking to any aviation assets, make sure you're orienting yourself to them. So pull it out, it's on the cover for a reason, and have a good, safe shift.
Good morning, everybody. Jason Dana and Team Safety. I want you guys to take a moment to reflect on the magnitude of this incident, the number of people it's affected. As you're doing that and listening to all the briefing, all the information we're giving you right now, you kind of notice the tone. It's a pretty stern tone, and there's a reason why. Today's not the day to be complacent. There's a lot of things that we need to maintain awareness and pay attention to. So just as a reminder, firefighter safety is our number one priority. That's why we're here. That's our whole existence here in the safety shop. So we know those hazards are out there. We talk about it every single day. We talk about it here. You talk about it amongst your crews. Is in your IAPs. So again, what are those? The big ones are going to be that fire weather, ash pits, hazard trees, driving, residential hazmat. When those hazards are known, injuries happen because of fatigue and complacency. Look out for both. Both of those are preventable things that you can do. So safety is not a box we check in the morning briefing. Safety is a promise we make to the people waiting for you at home. Your families, your kids, your partners, that you're coming back to them. So today I need you to verify your LCES, watch the firefighter to your left, firefighter to your right, speak up if something isn't right, no matter what your rank is. So today, let's do good work, look out for each other, bring everyone back to base camp. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Chris Oliver, Communications. So today you heard of the, we do have a new clone for that incident attack zone. We want to prepare you for anything that may happen out there. So also in your 205, check out a QR code. There's a QR code there for some training, some tips for you with your radio. Have a safe shift.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Matthew Caffey, I'm your operations medical unit leader. We're getting orders filled. We're providing good coverage throughout the fire for you guys. This is not a false sense of security. We know you guys are going to be aggressive the next couple days. We got wind coming in, but remember, this thing's been burning for 4 or 5 days. So you got a lot of weak trees. You got a lot of ash pots out there. Those are the injuries we're seeing. Those are the trends. So when you're out there and engaging, make sure that you communicate with your medical personnel, divisions, crews. Everybody, please let them know where you're going in. Communicate. You got a lot of local knowledge out there with you guys. They're all local folks that know how to get in and out of these places. That being said, any one of us can be an IC on any of these incidents. So there's 4 things we need from you guys when you're doing an IWI. Who you are, where you are, what you have, and what you need. The what you need part, this is a unique situation. We got local gov agencies that are out there as well. We're on their command channels, and we're going to get you the closest resource as fast as possible. Our branches are on the radio. They're listening to. They're aware of the local gov guys. You may see a local ambulance or a local engine show up on your incident, and they may integrate with you guys. We're going to get you guys the closest resource as fast as we need it. Get out there. Stay aggressive. We're providing for your safety. Thank you.
Good morning, Janine Hammond, Logistics. We're here to take care of all of your needs. There are a couple of things that come up. We have moved ground support to the field across from this parking lot. We also have a couple of strike teams coming in at night and parking in this parking lot. If we can get you to follow the traffic pattern, we're going to be putting you behind with all of the other vehicles. We're bringing in more showers. Hopefully we can cut down on the time that you've all been waiting for your showers. The donations have been moved into the pavilion between bays 1 and 2. So if you're looking for any of the snacks or anything like that, they're inside the building. And we have sleeper trailers in the back in the parking lot if any of you need those in the evenings because it's hot. Thanks. Have a great shift.
Good morning. Brad Smith. I'm the training specialist here with Team 7. If you're involved in the incident training program, either as a trainee or a mentor, we really want to encourage you guys to use the Team 7 training homepage. There's all kinds of information on there for filling out 225s, links to register and initiate the closeout on training assignments. There's links to fillable 225s. There's even tips for evaluators on how to write an effective performance evaluation. You get to the page from the QR code on the front of the IAP and the link tree. There's also a link to it in the training message in the IAP. And if you're a federal, state, or local government trainee and you have not registered with us yet, we really want to encourage you to get that done ASAP so your assignment is counted on the permanent incident training record. We're located next to resources in the center of the big building here. Thanks.
Good morning, John Maxwell, law enforcement liaison. I'm not here to talk to you about law enforcement stuff. Here to talk about mental health. Lots of tools in the toolbox for your physical health. We don't talk a lot about your mental health. And today, you're going to find yourself out there with the public that have lost everything. Their stress, their sadness, when you're talking to them, gets on us. We have lots of tools in this team. I even seen a chaplain over here, if you can raise your hand, to help out. We have a couple CISM peer support guys that'll be over by ordering, or any black shirt. If you're having a hard day, you just want to talk to somebody, grab a black shirt. They'll talk to you, or they'll put you in contact with somebody that can talk to you. So let's not forget about your mental health today. It's important. When you're stressed out, you're sleeping out in the dirt, you're not hydrating enough, it all builds up. So reach out to somebody. Let's talk. That's the best medicine. So thank you. Have a great day.
Okay, so what I want to point out, inside the IEP, there is a finance message. There's some QR codes on there to help make it easier for you guys to get your CTRs and things into finance. But we also have the finance ladies over here. If you need to speak with one of them, they can help you out. You'll also notice now there's a demo message in there too, and there's actually a demo schedule that's posted back there on the back. Once we start demobbing, we're asking you guys to please follow that schedule. Don't try to jump in line or in front of somebody. There's a lot of people. At one point, we're going to be going through this schedule, so we got to make sure it works nice. And also on the 204s, you'll notice as you get to your last work day, that'll be highlighted in red, so it kind of gives you a warning that that's your last work day and you start planning for it. So one other thing point out to you guys see our breakouts are all posted along the back of the briefing area. They're all in alphabetical order to make it easy for you guys to get to them. We do have our resources down at the end of the table, so if you're an unassigned resource, please get over there. If there's anything that needs corrected on your 204, please get with your division during your breakout and let's get those corrections done. Cloning tables here to the left. Some of our meeting schedules that are coming up, we do have a cooperative meeting today at 10. We'll be back out here for our planning meeting at 1700 tonight, and then we'll see you, and then we have our night brief at 1900, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow at 0700. So with that, I'd like to go and bring up our IC, Tom Clemo, for some closing comments.
Hey, good morning, everybody. About 6 days ago, this fire started, and we lost, at least at our last count, 812 structures. And a lot of people lost everything they had right out the window in about a 3-4 hour period. And we're at a phase in this fire where in the next 2 days are the most critical 2 days of this incident. You heard it from weather and you heard it from our FBAN that we have got to get past these next 2 days. We can't let anything out of the fire perimeter. The fire is moving in phases, and in urban conflagrations, the first phase has already occurred, and you've gotten us to where we are right now, which is we've got increased containment. We've got a pretty good line around this fire. You guys have done a tremendous job on mop up. And the next phase is this weather event. When we move past that, we're going to get into taking all the heat out of the structures, all the ash pots that are out there. But we can't do that during the weather event. I'm going to ask a couple things of you today. Number one, really dig into your 204s and understand who you are as an IA resource, because we've got to get on top of that immediately in the next 48 hours. Number two, stay out of that urban environment inside the ash pits of the structures unless you have to. That stuff is toxic. You've heard us message us the last couple of days. That is not something you want to be in or around unless you've got SCBA on. And we're going to start that process on Sunday. And the third thing has come back to us tonight safely. You heard it from safety. This is one of those days where we could get something outside of the box of the incidents, put you into IA, and now this thing is off to the races, and your risk profile just jumped up. Be careful out there, take care of one another out there, and we'll see you back here in camp tonight.
Okay, so that brings our briefing to a close. Make your way over to your breakouts. If you're unassigned, remember, go down to the regional table, get checked in, and we'll see you again tomorrow morning. Thank you.